Have you ever noticed how life sometimes has this perfect timing for putting everything right back in its place? In just a matter of seconds, one wrong move can come back around as an immediate consequence, and the most incredible part is when all of it gets caught on camera. Whether it's heated arguments, impulsive decisions, or just moments of pure cluelessness, instant karma shows up without any warning and turns completely ordinary situations into absolutely unbelievable scenes. And that is exactly what you're going to see right here today. So go ahead and drop a like, hit that subscribe button down below, and let's get into it. Trust me, you do not want to miss a single second of what's coming up next on this one. During a rave, a young guy who was clearly already under the influence of alcohol or some other substance managed to put himself in a situation that ended really badly for him. The video, recorded by someone else who was there at the event, shows this guy dancing in a completely disoriented way, and then at a certain point, he starts pushing another man who's standing right in front of him with his back turned. He does it once, and the guy turns around, clearly not happy about what just happened, but then he does it again. He pushes the man a second time, and the reaction is immediate. The man spins around and lands a seriously hard punch on the young guy, who drops instantly and just stays down right there on the floor. Now, obviously, nothing justifies that level of aggression from the man. That punch was way over the line, but at the same time, the young guy was being genuinely reckless and kept pushing and provoking until he crossed the wrong person and ultimately had to face the consequences of his own actions. A woman was caught on camera at an airport causing absolute chaos, completely losing it on staff and other passengers who happened to be around her. The entire incident was filmed by another traveler who was simply waiting to board her flight. We can see the woman walking through the terminal after going off on airline employees, who honestly had no other choice but to call security over to step in and help get the whole situation under control before things could escalate any further than they already had.
Oh, no.
A man who found out he'd been cheated on by his partner decided to take some pretty drastic revenge, and the whole thing was caught on camera and went viral. The footage recorded by a friend shows the man inside his ex's house using a tool, specifically a jackhammer, to rip out part of the hardwood floor that he had paid to install back when they were still together. The video got posted online and blew up fast, with people seriously divided over what he did. Some called it way over the top, but others said it was completely justified since he had spent his own money helping someone who was betraying him behind his back. And honestly, if you paid for it, why leave it behind? When the woman arrives and sees the house in that state, she can't believe what she's looking at. She confronts him, and he lays it all out, everything he found out about the cheating. She tries to explain herself, tries to make excuses, but it's already too late. The damage was done, and it was massive. Now, the fight between Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman at UFC 162 went down as one of the most iconic moments in MMA history, and honestly, it's mostly because of the way it ended. Anderson Silva, who at the time was the reigning dominant middleweight champion and considered by many to be the greatest fighter of all time, stepped into that fight with his signature confident style, same as always. As the fight progressed, especially in the second round, he started taunting his opponent, dropping his guard, slipping punches in this exaggerated, almost theatrical way, playing with the distance, basically trying to bait Weidman into making mistakes and showing off his technical superiority. And look, that kind of thing had worked for him in so many fights before. Anderson had this incredible ability to get inside his opponent's heads, throw them off mentally, and then find the perfect opening to counter. But this time, the strategy just didn't land the same way. While Anderson was keeping his guard low and doing all those taunting movements, Chris Weidman stayed completely locked in and seized the moment, landing a clean, crisp shot that caught the Brazilian flush. The impact was enough to drop him right there on the spot, leading to a second-round knockout that brought a stunning, almost unbelievable end to Anderson's long championship reign. The loss genuinely shocked the entire MMA world, not just because of the result itself, but because of how it all went down. It's still constantly held up as the textbook example of overconfidence inside the sport. A prank pulled by a content creator ended up drawing a lot of attention for how incredibly tone deaf it was. In this hidden camera video, he sneaks up behind someone in the store, a random guy just shopping, and as he gets close, he fakes a sneeze using a little water bottle to simulate his spit spraying onto the back of the guy's neck. The moment the guy feels that wetness, he spins around and he is not happy about it. He gets right in the creator's face, grabs him by the collar, and starts cursing him out. The creator tries to explain it was just a prank, but that really doesn't help much at all because the guy stays furious.
It was, bro.
Hey man, this shit, man, don't do that shit. Instagram, man, don't do that. I'm a grown man.
To get his revenge, he reaches over and grabs the bottle right out of the content creator's hands and splashes it directly into his face, completely emptying every single last drop of water all over him. After going through something like that, he's probably gonna think twice before pulling that prank on anyone ever again. This guy thought he was being clever by driving on the sidewalk to skip traffic, and a group of men passing by decided to teach him a very quick lesson. He's rolling down the sidewalk like it's totally normal, like he owns the place. So these guys stop him and call him out on it, because yeah, what he's doing is completely wrong, but instead of owning up to his mistake, he acts like he's still in the right, ignores them, and tries to just drive off. The men aren't having it though, and that's when things escalate into a full-on brawl. Spoiler, it doesn't go well for the driver at all, and he ends up being forced off the sidewalk. Not his best day behind the wheel, that's for sure. You can see it all go down right here. He argues, hurls insults at them, and even tries to run them over with the car. Then he gets out thinking he's tough enough to fight, and ends up getting launched straight onto the ground. Hard. And once he finally realized things were not going his way out there, his only real option was to tuck his tail and walk off down the highway. During what looks like some kind of group game or contest, a young woman decided to pull a pretty mean little prank. And let's just say it came right back around to her. In the clip, we see her waiting for a guy dressed as the cartoon character Patrick Star to walk right in front of her carrying a tray full of cups of water just so she could smack the tray and send every single cup crashing to the floor. But if she thought she was gonna walk away from that little stunt with zero consequences, she was dead wrong. Because right at that same moment, another woman walking behind her caught the whole thing. And as instant payback, she grabbed a cup of water and absolutely soaked the troublemaker, leaving her completely drenched and totally humiliated right there on the spot. This girl knocked the tray over for absolutely no reason, just showing off or trying to get attention, and it totally backfired on her. She ended up soaking wet, looking completely embarrassed in front of everyone, while they all just laughed at her. A reckless driver made a seriously dangerous move trying to pass several vehicles ahead of him, and it ended in disaster when he completely lost control of his car. The whole thing was caught on a dash cam mounted inside one of the other vehicles, and it captured the exact moment this guy comes flying in at high speed, cuts to the right, starts swerving all over the lane, and loses control almost instantly. He ends up spinning off toward the side of the road, nearly causing a massive crash that could have taken out other drivers who had absolutely nothing to do with his reckless driving. He got really lucky managing to dodge all those vehicles in his path, and pulling onto the sandy shoulder of the road actually helped him slow down without flipping over. But honestly, that scare was absolutely massive. I don't think anyone would be okay after that. A video that went viral on social media shows a situation that caught a whole lot of attention, specifically because of how the mother chose to handle her son's mistake. According to the original account, the boy, who was around 8 years old, had vandalized a structure that was part of a community project while he was under the supervision of a family member. When the mother found out what had happened, she was visibly upset, confronted the boy directly, and made him admit exactly what he had done wrong. Instead of just scolding him verbally and moving on, she took immediate action and actually forced her son to clean up every single bit of the mess that he himself had made, right there on the spot. At first, the boy showed a lot of resistance and frustration with the punishment, getting pretty upset about being called out in public and forced to correct his own mistake. mistake, but he eventually ended up complying. During the whole process, he cleaned the structure thoroughly and even apologized to both his mother and the person responsible for the space, showing that he truly understood the seriousness of what he had done. The video spread widely because so many people saw in the mother's response a very real and practical example of responsibility-based parenting, where the consequence of a mistake is directly tied to fixing it yourself. So this woman decided to follow her friend's idea and try jumping over a wooden fence. And let's just say it did not go well. She ended up completely stuck hanging there by her underwear in one of the most embarrassing situations you could possibly imagine. And if that wasn't bad enough, the friend who had already made it over didn't rush to help her. Nope, he pulled out his phone and started filming. There she is, dangling off the fence, pants pulled all the way down to her ankles, and this guy is just laughing his head off. She's clearly mortified and super uncomfortable, which honestly makes total sense. Having your underwear stretched out like that while you're stuck on a fence sounds absolutely awful. Now apparently, after getting his footage, the friend did eventually help her down and she was totally fine, but then he went ahead and posted the video online, and that's where things caught up with him. The internet did not let that slide. He got absolutely canceled, and honestly, can you blame people? He didn't help. He filmed, he laughed, and then he exposed her to the entire internet. With friends like that, who needs enemies? The driver ended up getting played at his own game when he tried to block someone who was coming up behind him and accidentally took the wrong exit. The dashcam footage from the car behind shows the exact moment he was trying to cut off the vehicle in front while that driver kept blocking him on both the right and the left. So then he had this brilliant idea to trick the guy in front. As they got close to an exit on the highway, he faked like he was going to take it, which forced the driver in front to also steer toward the exit. And right after that, he just merges back onto the highway, leaving only the guy who'd been blocking him stuck at the exit with no easy way back. The driver in front definitely had no intention of actually taking that exit. He was only doing it to mess with the guy behind him. But in the end, it completely backfired. He got outsmarted, ended up going the wrong way, and honestly, that's what you get for playing games on the highway. Karma really doesn't miss when you're out there being that guy on the road. The driver of a pickup truck ended up seriously regretting his decisions after trying to provoke and challenge the driver of a sports car to a street race. In the dashcam footage captured from inside the sports car, we can see the driver pulling up to an intersection where the traffic light is turned red, and right next to him, a pickup truck also rolls up and comes to a stop. The pickup truck driver then rolls down his window and starts apparently trash-talking the sports car driver, suggesting that they should race each other right there on the spot, basically proposing a classic illegal street race. The sports car driver takes in the challenge and even seems to find it a little bit funny, but honestly doesn't really seem on board with the idea. And for a very good reason. It was a busy road with a posted speed limit, and to make things even worse, there was a police cruiser sitting right there behind them the whole time. Something the pickup truck driver had completely and utterly failed to notice. The light turns green, and without thinking twice, the pickup truck driver floors it and takes off, blowing way past the speed limit without a second thought. And just like you would expect, the police cruiser behind them immediately catches on to what just happened and takes off after him to pull him over. The sports car driver was smart enough not to play along with any of it. After all, he could already see that the cops were going to act, and that is exactly what ended up happening. The pickup truck driver most likely walked away with a pretty hefty fine for that little stunt he pulled. A scene that went viral on social media shows a heated argument at a Dunkin' drive-thru that quickly spiraled out of control. In the video, a customer appears extremely frustrated with the service and starts going off on the employee, raising her voice, cursing, and acting aggressively while complaining about her order. The employee initially tries to handle the situation, but the tension keeps building as the customer just refuses to calm down. The most striking moment happens when, after a whole series of insults and the argument reaching its peak, the employee reacts in the most unexpected way possible. She grabs an iced coffee and throws it directly into the customer's face, ending the confrontation in the most abrupt way imaginable. The reaction genuinely surprises everyone watching, because it completely breaks the expected standard of customer service, turning the whole thing into an absolutely chaotic and viral moment. Looks like the employee had simply had enough and decided to take matters into her own hands. A dad who was completely fed up with his kid reacted in a pretty savage way when he saw the boy bouncing a basketball and killing his patients while he was trying to barbecue. The clip, described as being from the quarantine era when people had to stay home because of the pandemic, shows the dad out on the porch trying to relax and grill some meat when his son shows up bouncing a basketball right next to him. The dad completely loses it, grabs the ball, and absolutely boots it as far as he can. That thing goes flying. Pretty safe to say the kid had already been driving his dad crazy with that ball for a while, and at that moment, the man finally snapped. The post also made a point of the irony that this happened during quarantine, when people were, let's say, forced to be stuck inside the house together with their family members. That situation definitely pushed some people's patience to the absolute limit, and this dad was a perfect example. You could clearly see his fuse was dangerously short at that point, and one bouncing basketball was all it took to set him completely off. Stressed out woman was caught on camera literally stopping her car in the middle of a highway just to confront the driver behind her. And let's just say it didn't go the way she planned. The video, filmed by a motorcyclist passing through the area, shows the woman getting out of her vehicle, which she left blocking the lane, and walking straight up to the car behind her, where she tried to yank the door open to get in the driver's face. But she couldn't. The driver inside kept pushing the door shut every single time she tried to pull it open. She tries again and again, but doesn't manage to get it open once. The driver, with way more composure and strength, shuts her down. Realizing she's actually just embarrassing herself out there, she walks back to her car and drives off. All that boldness went absolutely nowhere. The driver got a ton of praise for the way he handled it, simply preventing her from opening that door and completely killing her momentum, leaving her with no choice but to get back in her car and clear the road. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss more videos just like this one.